Sascha, do you want to introduce yourself real quick so that our viewers have an idea a little bit about your background? You're kind of a polymath, so you're difficult to put into one box, which I love about our guests. You're a classical, I guess, PM Cowboy in that sense, that you're all over the place. But maybe some of the highlights of your past history, so people know, how did you come up with ethics and leadership? Why is it one of your passion topics?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mark. It's great to be here. Thank you for the invitation. Yes, I have really been around the world a lot in many countries and continents, and it's difficult to find a succinct summary of my life and what I can bring to the table, literally to the table today here. But maybe I will mention a few points so you get a little bit of texture. Mm-hmm. So I've been growing up in Vienna, and I went to school in places like the UK and also in university in the United States. So I have a master's degree from Harvard University in an obscure linguistic field called Sanskrit and Indology. And I then also did an MBA with INSEAD.
So you went to the dark side. You went from the liberal arts aspect more to the hard arts. If you call it that,
yeah, you could.
The martial arts, you could say.
Yeah, you could say that. And there was the interesting thing. There was always a very strong quantitative aspect to this. Obviously, in business administration there is, but also in linguistics you will find that. And so, if another big chunk of my life was spent in the pharmaceutical industry with Pfizer, so you could say actually that my career is dominated by three aspects. One is technology, one is finance, and one is pharmaceutical industry, and or let's say healthcare, mm-hmm. because then it becomes also less focused on the medicines and more focused on healthcare in general. So that's pretty much what I did during most of my life, and now I have founded the Institute for Ethical Leadership, because in the end you always end up with the big questions. Obviously, in a different life stage, maybe you're interested in how can I make this project work? How can I make it more efficient? How can I optimize it?
You're more interested in the how.
Correct.
And when you gain a couple of years, you're more interested in the why.
Yes, and let me point out that the how remains very important.
Yeah.
And if you lose your eye on that aspect, you will have a similar problem. So it's a hygiene factor, as we like to say.
Yeah. You're also a serial entrepreneur, right? So you have exposure. You mentioned it kind of offhandedly. He's very humble with technology.
Yes. So quite a lot of software projects, some of which are still ongoing and being reasonably successful. I have a few very innovative ideas in the blockchain realm, in the crypto space, where I won a few awards and so on. But it's one thing to have a great idea that the professors find and the panels find really cool, and yet another one to make it commercially viable. Yeah. Maybe I'm more of a idealist or philosopher.
Yeah. I think you're